The stories are endless. College football player, professional lacrosse player, businessman, adventurer. New England Black Wolves defender Bill O'Brien just loves living life and celebrating his Native American heritage.
I really like to dive all in and give it my all. Game day, baby. Let's go, game day.
Bill O'Brien is more than an intimidating presence on the turf.
I'm big, I'm strong, I'm fast, so I like to collide with people. With my football background, it makes it easy for me to want to hit people when I'm out there and play defense.
His aggressive style of play gets people's attention. 6'4", 235 pounds, and not an ounce of fat. But the real story hangs from his head.
The braid is almost believed to be a manifestation of your thoughts, so everything you've ever done in life is captured through your hair. We can go as far back as when I was 12 years old, this hair was with me.
Many tales are twisted up in that braid. Some run deep. If only his hair could talk.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if I'd want it to talk.
Each strand seems to have a story, like the time he climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, or the years he spent playing college football at Sacred Heart University in Connecticut, where his heritage piqued interest.
I was the first Native American that a lot of people met. You know, and I played football down there, and people would be like, what do you mean you're Native Indian? Like, what do you mean? I was like, well, Onondaga, to be precise, Iroquois. And they're like, geez, I didn't even know.
O'Brien says he wasn't raised a traditional Native American, but he has really embraced it. From the Onondaga Nation outside of Syracuse, he's a cousin of the Thompson brothers, some of the world's best lacrosse players. Together, they're using their platform to make a difference.
I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to be remembered for what you do, you know, both on the floor and off, and use what we have and leverage whether it's our reach as professional players to be able to impact something bigger than ourselves.
And O'Brien walks the walk. Along with family members and friends, he participated in protests against the Dakota Access Pipeline, which threatens the sacred land of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe in North Dakota.
We realized that there was a real need for people to bring awareness, and what we did was we drove across country, kind of stood in solidarity with them, and using what we do, we're lacrosse players. In Native American culture, lacrosse is believed to be a medicine game, bring healing to communities, so what we did was we held a medicine game. You know, even for a day, bring positivity to a movement that was going on that we stand behind and we believe in.
The 28-year-old says no matter what he does, he gives it his all. Lacrosse is just another example. Like his hair, his game is still growing.
Mic'd up, baby. We're here with Big Cat, Kevin Crowley. How you doing, Kevin?
Oh, hey!
Why not get pumped up right now?
Get fired up back in the Wolf Den.
In high school, he gave up lacrosse to concentrate on football. 3 years ago, he got back into the game. O'Brien participated in a tryout with the Black Wolves and beat out about 50 guys for a roster spot.
Game day, baby.
Rough around the edges, O'Brien has refined his skills with the help of his cousins, the Thompson brothers, and under the watchful eye of Wolves assistant coach Jim Veltman.
He loves listening. He's coachable, a real student of the game. Really wants to learn more and more and more. And everything I've asked him to do, he's done.
You know, Coach Veltman is a Hall of Famer, arguably the best player to ever play the game. I mean, that's a really good person to be learning from.
Like, he's the most unassuming, tough guy, other than his size and his build, maybe, that you'll meet.
I brought you a ball. I like that shirt.
I kind of get the feeling that some people look up to me. If you're a kid, I want you to be able to say, like, oh, wow, Bill's a nice person off the floor, but on the floor, no one wants to play against him. Just being a good human being, because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to.
That's how we do it here. Get them fired up.